Have you ever heard cyclists talk about zone 2 training and wondered why it's such a big deal? I mean, it almost sounds too easy, right? Zone 2 isn't about suffering and it's not about going full gas, but it's one of the most important types of training you can do if you want better endurance, better fitness and more energy on long rides. Hello everyone, my name is Marek Martin Matiska and I'm the project director here at ROUVY. Let's take a look at what zone 2 training is, why it works, how to find your zone 2 and how you can use it in your weekly riding. Let's start with a simple idea. Fitness is like building a pyramid. If you only focus on top of the pyramid, which are your hard workouts, you don't build a strong base first. Your fitness becomes unstable. That strong base comes from easier training. In other words, zone 2 work is the foundation that supports everything else. Even pro cyclists spend hours riding easy in zone 2. They know that endurance is built over time and not in one hard session. It may feel slow, but zone 2 riding cycling is the engine that allows you to ride longer and stronger later. So what exactly is zone 2 training? Basically, it's a steady, low intensity riding. It's an effort that feels comfortable but still purposeful. You're not sprinting, you're not gasping for air, you can still hold a conversation while you ride, but you know you're exercising. A good way to describe zone 2 is I can keep going for a long time and I feel in control. And it's not lazy riding. It's controlled riding. It's one of the best ways to improve endurance without exhausting your body. Zone 2 works because it trains your aerobic system. This helps your body get better at using oxygen, which improves endurance. It also helps your body burn more fat for fuel at easier intensities. Over time, zone 2 strengthens your heart and improves long-term fitness without the stress of hard training every day. Another benefit is that zone 2 helps your muscles become more efficient. Your body builds more mitochondria, which are like tiny energy factories inside your cells. This means better endurance and better energy production. This is why zone 2 is so powerful. It gives you big benefits, but with much less fatigue. Now, one of the most common questions is, how do I know when I'm training in zone 2? Many cyclists accidentally go too hard. Zone 2 should feel steady and smooth. Your breathing is deeper than normal, but not heavy. You can talk in full sentences. If you can only speak a few words, you are probably above zone 2. If it feels like you're doing almost nothing, you might be below zone 2. So how do you measure zone 2? There are a few simple ways. The first way is based on your heart rate. Zone 2 is usually about 60 to 70% of your maximum heart rate. A basic estimate is the old 220 minus your age formula. This method is based on earlier research showing that maximum heart rate drops as we get older. This method is not perfect, but it gives a starting point. The second way is the talk test, and it's really practical. If you're likely in zone 2, and if you can speak in full sentences, but you feel slightly challenged. The third way, which is very useful indoors, is power. If you know your FTP, zone 2 is usually about 56 to 75% of your FTP. For example, if your FTP is 200 watts, then zone 2 is roughly 110 to 150 watts. This third way is quite clear because it shows exactly how hard you are working. Okay, so let's take a closer look at the reasons you should do zone 2 training. Here are the main benefits. First, it builds a strong aerobic base, which helps you ride longer with less fatigue. Second, it improves your energy system, so you become more efficient. Third, it improves fat metabolism, which is very useful for long endurance ride. Fourth, it's easier on your body. Zone 2 training is gentler on your joints and muscles than constant high intensity work. And finally, zone 2 supports harder efforts later. A strong aerobic foundation helps you with higher intensity longer before fatigue sets in. Zone 2 is not about speed today, it's about building fitness for the future. So how much zone 2 training should you do? For most riders, zone 2 should make up around 60 to 80% of your endurance training volume. A simple weekly plan could look like this. 3 to 4 zone 2 rides per week. Each ride should be about 1 to 2 hours. Then you can add 1 or 2 harder sessions like tempo or short intensity work. The main things to keep in mind are that most training stays easy, but the small amounts are hard. That balance works best. Zone 2 rides can be long, so your nutrition matters. Don't make the mistake of neglecting fuel. If you ride for more than 90 minutes, you may need some carbohydrates, even at an easy pace. A simple rule is to drink regularly and eat small amounts during longer rides. Also, recovery is still important. Even low-intensity training needs a good sleep and rest. Here's something important. Zone 2 training is not only for cycling. You can build your aerobic base with other endurance activities too. For example, an easy run of about 60 to 90 minutes works great. Maintain a pace where you can still talk comfortably. Or, for a great aerobic workout with less stress on the joints, go for a low-intensity swim. Some other great options when you want variety are ROUVYing, hiking, or long uphill walks. The goal is always the same: easy effort, long duration, strong aerobic base. Zone 2 may sound simple, but athletes often make the same mistake. Mistake number 1 is going too hard. Many cyclists push above Zone 2 without realizing it, and then they lose the aerobic benefits. Mistake number 2 is being inconsistent. You'll see the best benefits of Zone 2 training when you do it regularly over weeks and months. Mistake number 3, ignoring recovery. Even easy training needs rest, good sleep, and proper fueling. And here's another important point. Zone 2 is the foundation, but you still want to mix in a little harder work. That could mean short, controlled sprints or joining virtual bike race once in a while. This keeps your body active and responsive. Most training stays easy, but small amounts are hard. That combination works best. So how can you do Zone 2 training indoors in a simple way? The easiest way is to use power guidance. On ROUVY, once you save your FTP in your profile, the app automatically sets your zones during a workout, so you can see your zone clearly on the screen. This makes it easy to stay in Zone 2 without guessing. Indoor cycling in Zone 2 is a great way to build endurance, especially when the weather outside isn't perfect. So that's Zone 2 training. It may feel easy, but it's one of the best ways to build real endurance, improve fitness, and support long-term progress. Start simple with a few steady Zone 2 rides each week. Stay consistent and be patient. The results will come. Thanks for watching, and remember to keep going!